So anything that's capital intensive, and this stuff normally isn't capital intensive, right? You've got some bioreactors, you've got some equipment that's tens of thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you can get into the business of doing this.
Yeah.
You know, that being said,
why doesn't Thermo Fisher just do it themselves? I mean, what's the threshold between vertically integrating and going to a supplier?
There is discussion on that, insourcing and outsourcing, and with the changing tides, you know, Thermo Fisher's, I think it's interesting, their Carlsbad facility is over, it's just right at 1 million square feet. And they have that pumping out $600 million of revenue a year, and they literally cannot put another product in that facility.
That's a nice business to have. I like that one.
Yeah, and they're probably operating at 73-75% margin, so they're making a ton of cash, right?
Yeah, okay. So to some degree, when you're doing that, you're more concerned about deliverability and reliability in the supply chain than you really are cost.
Exactly. And then you do stuff like, as you're aware, do I outsource my dogs and cats, my stuff I hardly build anything of? Or do I take my pretty large volume stuff that I've got a good handle on and take 20% of that capacity out, right? So it's a combination, and it very much depends on the management at the time, how much they want to insource, how much they want to outsource, right?
Yeah.
There's guys that only want to grow things. Now, unfortunately, if you look at the biotech quarters in the world, none of them are anywhere cheap, right? They're all in LA, San Francisco, San Diego, Boston, right?
Right.
You're like, there's nothing cheap about these.
Yeah.
Right? So your overhead wrap rates are enormous, are very, very high. But it doesn't matter because they're literally minting money. And whenever anybody, so as an example, Kip Weber ran Invitrogen for a while. He was spun off. He went and started Tanbo antibodies. Thermo Fisher bought Alphametrics. Alphametrics had about $110 million of antibodies around some kind of centered SKUs on the high volume ones. Those center SKU, they lost the ability to kind of manufacture that. Thermo rolled that inside, and you know, all that business now, people have gone away from Thermo and are going to Tanbo, which is Tan Bio, which is Kip's place. Yeah. And now he's doing $130 million of revenue, basically the same stuff he used to do, and he'll spin that off to Thermo at some point for $400 million, right? And then he'll go out and do it again, right? So it's this continually, and do you make the money on the pop, or do you make the money as you go along, or both? And it's probably a combination of both, right?
Well, but it's also, what I'm hearing is it's pretty incestuous, meaning
it's
the bundle of people, you know, if you're going to play in silane or organosilane or something like that, there's 8 guys out there that are opinion leaders in this stuff. And if you know the opinion leaders, they're the ones that are going to drive the adoption. They're the ones that are going to drive a lot of the supply chain decisions.
Exactly. And if you're talking a silane, a small guy that's not one of the 8 can come in, but he's going to need a large account. He's going to need an Intel. He's going to need a Motorola. He's going to need somebody big, right, to get going.
And do those guys, are there new entrants in these markets or not? Or is it pretty stable?
Absolutely new, right?
Okay. How do they break in? How do they break in?
Cost, incentives on long-term contracts. You know, they sell a loss leader to a big guy, right? With Intel,
to keep the lights on, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Intel would do business with almost anybody if they had transparency and had 13 to 17% margin. If you went to Intel and said, Intel, I'll ramp whatever you want, but I'm only going to make 13%, Intel would say, we'll load you up, and we'll load you up at $60 million a year worth. And away you go.
So why aren't you and I going and building a reactor somewhere to go make some crap for Intel at 15?
Yeah, no, you could. You could do that for Thermo. And you